Hey friends, this is Joe with Adequate Acres, where perfection is rarely reached. So why try? Hey guys, this is Joe with Youngblood Family Farm. Weekend vlog, right? Um, this weekend was filled with a lot of chores, a lot of tasks, and very few of them could I tote a camera around. Big thing right now is kind of getting some things wrapped up before winter. We worked on getting tomato soup produced, last of the tomatoes, and then once that was on the stove cooking away, my attention went to outside, and outside has been a whole lot of prep work, just getting things ready. You could see a little bit of what I call my pasture space, just getting it brush hogged, getting it chopped down, cleaned up, and getting into the woods, getting some of that transitional areas where those sassafrasses really like to pop up, and get those cleaned up. So that required a few hours Friday night and a few hours on Saturday to get everything brush hogged, chopped up, and keep things maintained as we continue to push the woods back and cut a few trees out and build that pasture space. Other things that we've been spending some energy on is getting the wood stacks stacked. And you can see right down here, kind of my prep zone. Getting these all in their pallets, getting them ready to go. And I will probably move these up closer to the house and the barn, and then I've got some sheet metal that I will put on top of those. So getting those ready, getting those prepared, because it seems to me like we're gonna blink and it will be winter time. And it's like money in the bank, right? Going along with that, I've got this pile that needs to be split, and then it will need to get split and stacked, and not a huge pile of wood. We have been already working on that. Pile of soft maple. We use some of that for syrup. We'll use some of that for firewood sails, campfire type wood sails. And that is most of the soft maple pile, and you can see we got a little bit of roofing on top of that. I'd like to find some roofing I get in the barn and start to put on top of these stacks to just kind of get the snow and the rain off of it. That persistent snow and rain actually causes a little bit of rot here. Figure someone might be wondering what's going on here. I got a woodchuck in my pile, and that woodchuck jammed sand all up against the pieces of wood. And so I'm not sure where that'll go. I know quite a few people that have outdoor burners. It's good seasoned ash, but bringing it into the house, it's going to be a big mess. So it's just going to hang out there for a while until I find a home for it. So that's what we've been up to. I'm going to take you down in the woods and show you the other thing that we. Now, was super quiet this summer, and that wasn't intentional. It just happened. Had some computer issues. Tried to download software called Filmora. Figured out that my computer would not handle it. Kept trying. Instead of just backing up and using the old method that I always used. And so, and then the summer took off. The missus worked a lot more this summer, and I just decided I had enough to just spend the time with my family and get the daily chores done. But some tasks that I worked on this summer was put a new trail in, and since I brought gravel in for the driveway, fixed up quite a bit of the trails, leveled them out. They get pretty rutted during syrup season. Another thing that we've been working on since I was out brush hogging is getting lots of cross trails cut as I think about syrup season. And you know, it's kind of a short period of time, but it's one of my favorite times, and so I need to constantly think about how can I access the trees. Are my trees in good shape? Do I want to expand for the season, and what supplies do I need to get? And you know, what is the overall health of the tree? Is the tree looking healthy? Is it, is it banged up? Is it, is the tap hole healing well? And let's take a look. And you can see right there is the tap hole. And I can see that it's actually closing up. You can see the crack up and down. There you go. And so, I've had a few that the bark just kind of falls off around that area. And and clearly I put that, that injury, that scar into the tree. And so I want to make sure that, does it become firewood? Does it, do I just let that tree have a year off and see how it bounces back? Do I need to put some treatment over that scar? I want to do this thing sustainably, right? So I got to think sustainably and keep an eye on all the trees and keeping an eye on their conditions. So a lot of my brush hogging trails are just, try to hold you guys fairly steady here. A lot of easements, if you will. Remember, you're coming out here and you might have a foot of snow at the beginning of the season, and then you'll get other snowfalls. It'll be sloppy wet, and you want to make sure it's easy. You can come out with the tractor or your wheeler or whatever you have, but you can't drive by every place. Now, if you got tubing, good for you, but you're probably putting up some of your tubing right now, or you're making sure that it's maintained right now. So this is just some of the things that we've been working on here, getting ourselves ready for the next season and the season ahead. One last thing I want to show you before we're done. Last thing we've been doing as we think about upcoming syrup season is, thinning. And this summer I worked on this area of my maple bush, and worked on, once again, I worked on some trailing and then some little tributaries, if you will, getting access in, and then I worked on thinning. You can see, and this is more for future growth's sake, but I had these two trees going up, and this tree right here is probably at about a 10-inch diameter, so I could easily tap that, but you could see the openings, by coming in and cutting that out, I can now open up my canopy a little bit more. And we know that, from middle school science, right? Leaves capture sunlight. Leaves convert that sun energy through photosynthesis, right, into sugars, and those sugars are stored inside the tree. And so for us to be able to get a sweeter crop, we need more sunlight. And if we want more trees, there's that opening. So we got a dead one here. If we want more bigger trees that we can tap, then we have to just thin out the woods. You can definitely see that my woods are pretty dense. We bought this property a little more than 9 years ago, and you could just see that the trees are just dense. And I could go chop, but if I don't need the wood, it's kind of wasteful. And so we just keep attacking a little area here and there. And then dead standing ash needs to be harvested, so we do that. And it'll probably take the rest of my life to make this wood lot thinned out how I would like it. And so it's kind of what we do here. And so pretty busy weekend. Today is a Sunday. From what I understand, the kids said that we broke the 30 egg mark, which means that we're going to go for ice cream. So it's one of those goals that we have zero control over. But if we reach that goal, then we'll go make it a little fun. So that's me. I'm Joe. I'm just a shop teacher, having fun on my little bit of land. I'm not off grid. Some would say I'm not even a homesteader. And just enjoying my little piece of adequate acres, right? Have a nice day. Bye.